Welcome to episode 2 of my series, Positive Encouraging Discussions. So, yeah, let's go. I started and ended my last episode by saying that struggling with something doesn't make you broken. I hate that word. I hate it. It has some terrible, terrible connotations. Just think about it. If something is broken, what does that mean? Well, it means that in order for it to work properly, it needs to be fixed. I'm a big analogy guy. It helps me explain, understand, comprehend things. I used some analogies, the container analogy last episode, so I'll use another one now. If your car is broken, most of us, we got to take it to a professional. And sometimes what can happen? The insurance adjuster can come out if it was, a bad accident, and he can look at everything and he can say, you know what? This car it's not worth money to repair it, so we're going to total it out. Or the mechanic can come in and say, hey, listen, this is what the cost of these repairs are going to be for you, and you can look at that amount and just go, no, can't do it, can't afford it, and you end up just taking your car to the junkyard. Now let's take that analogy back to what we're talking about. When we're talking about a person being broken, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. I don't know what the numbers are for, other demographics, but I know that all these demographics that had, PTSD from whatever, or anxiety, depression, I know the numbers are higher than just average Joe walking down the street. Like, the numbers are appalling. And I feel like a lot of these people, they think they're just so broken that they'll never be able to fix it, right? And they feel like they're just some Ford Explorer with a bent frame, and they think the only thing they can do is total themselves out. And it's just that's not the way to look at this. You are not broken. We got to get rid of that word. We got to just chuck it straight into the bin, out of your head. I was the worst with this. I would tell my wife, if we got into a fight, I'd tell my wife, I know I'm just a broke, crazy person. I'm just this broken, crazy person. I'm so sorry. I would tell doctors, my counselor, my therapist, like, my brain is broken. I need you to help me fix it. And it took me years to realize that thinking that I was broken and in need of fixing was holding me back, because it can make those struggles that we talked about last week, it can make them seem insurmountable. Sure, we need help. You know, most of us cannot do this alone, but we can grow. We can work on the things that we're struggling with, and we can improve our lives. Um, my psychiatrist, he used a great analogy when I first met him. It's probably the best way I've heard of helping describe PTSDs and the after effect of trauma. Now I'm going to change the animal up in this analogy. He used a bear. My parents, they live up in the mountains of North Carolina. I know what bears are capable of, so I'm not going to use a bear. I'm going to use a wolf. And I'm going to add to the analogy. I can be a bit long-winded. I can be a bit long-winded. So we're going to change that analogy and extend it a little bit. So imagine a person walking through the woods, right? And suddenly, out of nowhere, a wolf starts to chase them, right? And so they scramble up this tree to stay safe. Now, if the wolf immediately gives up and runs off, what are they going to do? They'll probably wait a little bit, shimmy down the tree, and book it out the woods in the opposite direction, right? Well, the longer they're stuck in the tree, the worse the wolf attack is, the longer they're going to stay in the tree. What if the wolf doesn't give up? What if on the way up the tree he grabs your sneaker while he's trying to grab that person? What if he circles the tree for hours, all night, snarling, snapping, leaping? Is that person going to climb down from that tree as soon as the wolf disappears? No, they're not. And like I said, the longer they're stuck there, the worse the wolf attack is, the longer they're going to be up in that tree. When they do finally come down, they're going to be, on alert, right? They're going to be, looking around. Even if the wolf has been gone for hours. Even if the wolf's been gone for hours, they're still going to be super hyper vigilant, right? Looking around. If they hear any sort of noise like a twig crack, or a leaf crunch, they're going to shimmy up the nearest tree, right? If you've ever been in the woods, a little squirrel running through the leaves can make a big noise, right? My wife, when we're up on vacation, she's always on the lookout for bears, and she'll hear squirrels, and she thinks it's a bear. So think about if you're worried about a bear attack or wolf attack, we're on wolves. Yeah, you're going to be hyper vigilant the second you hear something. Back up the tree, right? And the worse it is, the longer it's going to be before that person wants to go back into the woods. Now, let's bring this analogy back to us. The woods is life. That tree is the wolf attack and up the tree, that's that traumatic event, whatever it is. The wolf is different for everybody. My wolf is a 36-hour firefight. My wolf is an emotionally abusive relationship. My wolf is watching a very good friend of mine get shot and killed right in front of me. I mean, heck, I've got a whole pack of wolves. A whole pack. You might have a whole pack. But guess what? If you're watching this right now, you're not broken, you're strong. You faced the wolves and made it through. Like, that's the opposite of being broken. I'm so sick and tired of getting these phone calls finding out that I have to go to another funeral because someone else that I love thought that they were broken, because they thought that they were too weak to improve their situation. We aren't weak. We aren't broken. Struggling isn't a lack of strength. It's a fact of life. Maybe I'm asking you to fundamentally change the way you think from being a glass half empty to a glass half full type of person. I know it was tough, a hard shift for me and how I thought about life. It took a lot of work. It takes a lot of work still. There's no magic Men in Black pen that we can just zap those wolves out of existence and out of our brains. They they're always going to be there. We have to learn how to overcome the things that we're struggling with. But if you think it's impossible, you're just going to give up. It is not impossible. We're not trying to fix a broken car. I mean, let's go back to my container analogy. We hop in analogies all day long over here. So if you missed my last episode, the container analogy for me, I see individuals as containers of varying sizes. You're born with a container of a certain size. That's the way God made you. You can't change it. Um, and when stress and stuff that starts to pour into the cup, and when it overflows, right? Um, and looking at this container, right? We're not trying to slap some Flex Seal on a crack in that container. We're not the little boy trying to stick fingers in the holes in the dam to keep it from breaking. We're not doing any of that. All we're trying to do is stop our container from overflowing, not trying to fix a broken container because you are not broken. So we need to find a way to empty what is in our container. We need to find a way to minimize what goes into it, not fix the container itself. And I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. Now, we're not in some PhD level calculus quantum physics class, all right? This isn't hard homework. Um, so, what can we do to keep this container from overflowing? Well, first thing, if you're looking at a container, like let's pour some of it out. Well, what does that mean? Well, for me, like it was just talking to someone, like pouring the words out. I was about to say literally, but I don't think that's literal. I think that's figurative. What are you struggling with? What and pouring the word, it's hard to share. It's hard. It took me ages to be ready to, but you don't have to start big. Um, let's if you're a 2 gallon container and you're about ready to overflow, you can just empty out a cup. You can just empty out a bottle cap, a teaspoon. Just get a little bit of relief. Just anything that bugs you, that stresses you out, gives you some anxiety. Like, I mean, maybe your dog crapped on the carpet yesterday. Like that's probably a medicine dropper in the grand scheme of things, but all that stuff, those little things, they add up. And it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? It's just that one little drop, and boom, we've overflowed. So for me, a little stressor right now for me is we just moved into this new house. Our neighbors, they've got some dogs. Well, their dogs like to come up to the fence and say hi to our dogs. Shouldn't be anything wrong with that. That's perfectly fine, right? Well, my German Shepherd, he a couple years ago, he got attacked by a dog. And so now, whenever he meets a dog or he sees a dog that he doesn't know, it's an unknown dog to him, he kind of gets a little bit reactive. He wants to look all big, and because he got chased up the tree by a wolf, right? Um, and so now, because he doesn't know those dogs next door, it's just it's a privacy fence, so he can't see them, he can't tell if they're friendly, nothing like that. So now he just goes crazy at the fence every once in a while, and I gotta go out there and yell at him and bring him inside. And that shouldn't really be a stressor, but we do have a lot of big stressors going. We're moving, we got all this stuff going on. And if I'm inside trying to talk to my wife, trying to do our daily devotional, whatever it is, and we're talking about stuff, and then especially if it's stressful, and then we're in the middle of conversation, and then outside, it's super distracting, it's super frustrating. I end up going out there and yelling at him. So that's a little stressor that I'm sharing with you, right? Um, so So feel free to drop a comment and share a little stressor of yours. Just pour out just a little bit. I mean, you can pour out a big stressor if you want, but just start small. Just start small. Um, so that's one thing that we can do. What's another? Another way to kind of empty this container. I like to think that accomplishing goals can be kind of like, reaching in with a scoop and taking some of that liquid out because you feel good about yourself when you accomplish something, right? And that can help ease some stress and some anxiety. So what is a goal that you can set and meet this week? Again, you can start small. It doesn't have to be something big, but it's super important that you can meet it and that you hold yourself accountable to it. So that's like why I say we start small. Uh, call your parents, clean the kitchen, something just little to get started. Give yourself a sense of accomplishment meeting a goal. And as you start to meet these smaller goals and we build up and build up, but like I said, this we're going to talk more about this next week. So my small little goal for this week is I am going to go for a walk around our new neighborhood with my wife. Like I said, we just moved here. We've been so busy with everything. I haven't had a chance to go take a stroll through our new nice neighborhood. So that's what I'm going to do. My wife and I'll go for a little walk, talk a little bit, spend some quality time together. So that is my goal for the week. What's your goal for the week? Drop a comment. Let me know what your goal is. And if you want help being held accountable, hey, I'll check in with you. I'll shoot you a message in a couple days. Hey, clean the kitchen yet? Hey, have you done this yet? And then on Monday, we can all come back in here and brag about how we met our goals, right? And we're going to feel good. And that container, you're going to scoop just a little bit more out of it. But yeah, so please drop a comment and let me know what your goal is, what your little stressor is. Please, I will, like I said, I did record this, so as soon as as soon as I end this stream, I will post up a recording of it, and that way people can watch it without the app. They'll be able to just open it in their browser windows on their phone, so that more people can watch it. Like I said, this is a little bit kind of early in the game to be trying to do something that's super interactive, but I wanted to give it a shot. And we had a bunch of people in here watching, which is awesome. And we had my folks in here to tell me that I was muted and I needed to start all over again from the beginning. But yeah, please like and share, drop a comment. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Do your homework, and I will talk to you guys next week for the next episode of the series. And I will be live streaming here in 20-ish minutes or so if you want to stop by and chat then. All right, thank you very much. Much love, y'all.